Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Matthew. Matthew is one of our team members here at Launch My Agency. He has an amazing array of experience that he brings to the table. I mean, managing teams doing $4 or $5 million a month and, all the cool business stuff. But he also has amazing passions that he does, specifically in regards to mindset development and stuff. So with that being said, I'm not going to spill the beans too much. We're going to introduce Matthew, who's responsible for some of the videos that you see online, the client success that you see. A lot of that is possible because of people like Matthew, and Matthew is one of our top client success managers here at Launch My Agency. So with that being said, Matthew, welcome, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm good, man. Dude, those were very honoring words. So I'm grateful for that and grateful to be part of the team. And obviously, just being able to serve the clients. I mean, all of our LMA clients have such a different, wide array of different backgrounds. We have people that come in that have backgrounds of 8-figure exits of past businesses, and LMA is just the next step in their journey of accelerating their wealth and potential. But then we also have people that come into LMA and this is their first business that they've ever started, and we help them from that place. And so it's very, very interesting just being able to help people from literally all kinds of different backgrounds be able to step into something that they've never done before and launch in an agency, but being able to help them do that to the best of not just their ability, but our ability as well, as we kind of walk through that journey with them.
100%. Matthew, I think you put it perfectly, right? Literally we have clients, Uber drivers, single moms, all the way to corporate executives managing tens of millions of dollars a month and everything in between. Take us back, right? Take us back way back before you ever first started. What got you into this industry? And, why did you decide to partner with LMA?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I'm 24 now. When I was 15 years old, I started my own digital marketing agency, and I did that into my 20s. And then a good friend of mine was running an offer. At the time, it was doing maybe something under $1 million a month, something like that, maybe a couple $100,000 a month. And then he connected with me. Him and I had done some things in the past in the agency. Kind of partnered together on some stuff. And he was a
Real quick, how far did you take the agency up to monthly revenue?
My agency was never anything incredible. It was maybe like 5-10K a month.
For a teenager, 5-10K a month is life-changing money, right? Not bad.
Yeah.
At least you started there, right? And then what comes later? Go ahead, Matthew, because you're gonna be surprised, right? What happens later?
Yeah, so after that, I got connected there and then got into the high ticket sales world. And then from there on, got connected into multiple different high ticket offers ranging from as little as 5 to 10K to as high as 20 to 30K, and was able to be in those offers pretty much at every level you can imagine, from setting, closing, managing, in leadership, mentoring and coaching the sales floor of, at that time, was probably maybe around like 60 people or so.
Wow.
And being able to see those offers scale from, at first it was like a couple hundred a month. That offer went from a couple hundred a month, 100,000 a month, to millions a month at peak, around like that 4 million a month range. And then within that same sphere, started opening different offers, able to start those from zero to million a month, 2 million a month. I think the smallest offer that we started and we would scale from like zero to like just under 100K a month. And at that point we were like, oh, it was like doing like 80K a month. And we were like, let's just scrap it. And we just scrapped it entirely because it wasn't doing the numbers that the other offers were doing.
Those are standards, right? Those are standards, ladies and gentlemen. And that just shows you the level of people that we bring to you. People who do 4 million a month. Imagine how easy it is for them to coach you up, to train you up, to do 10, 20, 30, 40K a month. I mean, for him, if he was doing 80K a month, he's like, yeah, it's too small. Let's scrap that because it's too tiny. Just imagine that level. It's kind of like we're burying the Navy SEALs out, right? Matthew, I think that's really important for what LMA does. But if you want to talk a little bit more in respective to the type of person that we actually look for here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with LMA that I love, because like a big part of my heartbeat, and Zarar knows this because it's like my background and everything that I do in coaching and things of that nature, I love helping people. One of my favorite things that lights me up personally, if I just have a selfish moment here, is I love seeing people go from where they are to where they could be, want to be, where their ultimate purpose is, and being able to just be a small part of the process of walking them through that. But here at LMA, what I love is that I get to do that in essentially every kind of realm of the different kind of demographics of people. Which in my background, I've worked with guys doing 8 and 9 figures. And I've directly coached even a billionaire once and his son. That's a whole other conversation. But here at LMA, we have a very similar kind of dynamic where there's people here who have had 8-figure exits. They're corporate executives. They've had many other successful businesses, and LMA is just kind of another piece in their puzzle. And then we have people that are just starting their first business ever, right? I've got people that I work with that drive Uber. There's people that I host a performance clinic on Mondays where we talk about mindset and how to not just perform in business, but really in every single aspect of your life to achieve a level of excellence that ultimately you desire and want. And there's people in that call that are on this side of the spectrum, but there's also people in that call that are single moms and are living, where I come from in New York City. There's actually one of those clients that are from the Bronx, from the exact neighborhood that I'm from in the Bronx.
No way. Really?
She told me the street that she lives on, and it's literally like 2 blocks away from where I grew up in the South Bronx. And if there's anyone who's watching this and you know what the South Bronx is like, then it's not necessarily the prettiest place.
Wow.
And so there's clients that we have that are there. And everything in between. And also at all the different levels as well, right? We have our accelerator program, our CEO program, our VIP program, which I don't know if we'll get into that on this call. But literally between those 3 levels, I have people all those levels from all those different backgrounds. So it's incredible what we're able to do in regards to just helping people here at LMA.
Absolutely. Matthew is literally a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all, right? Matthew, you touched a little bit upon one of the performance clinics that you do, right? Incredibly helpful. Can you talk about some of the wins that people have achieved, when you have a weekly call with them? What are some of the things that they've been able to achieve? And what's like the objective of having that call?
Yeah, that's great. I think the biggest thing in regards to objective is being able every single week to break through the different roadblocks and the different constraints that are either external, but a lot of times, as Zarar knows this from working with 100 people and also just in your own experience, is that oftentimes the obstacle isn't external, it's internal. And so what I've seen in my own experiences, like walking through my own journey, is that there's many video courses and there's all these different programs online. But typically the constraint that happens is that as you're going through those programs, one of 2 things happen. You either hit an external roadblock where the video in the course maybe explains it, but there's a certain nuance that it didn't explain that you get stuck on, that you can't figure out on your own, and you get so frustrated that you end up scrapping the whole thing. And then you blame it on, this course didn't work for me. But really, is because you couldn't get over that external roadblock. Or what's honestly happens more often than it being external is internal, where you're going through the program, you're going through the process, and internally there's a seed of doubt that starts to bear some weeds. There's a seed of fear. There's a seed of anxiety. There's something that happens internally, or somebody gets in your ear about something, and the way that you feel starts to change and shift. And because the way you feel starts to change and shift, unfortunately, there's many people that because of that feeling change, there also begins to have a commitment change. And when that commitment changes, then their result changes. And then it's the same result where they're like, man, this didn't work for me. And so what we do on Mondays in the performance clinic is we get strategic and surgical about diagnosing what that roadblock might be, whether it's internal or external, and then getting aggressive and intentional about removing that as fast as possible, right? Wow. Because at the end of the day, it's one of those 2 things. The reason why you're not at the place that you want to get to is likely, almost certainly, because you either have an internal roadblock or an external roadblock, and your ability to overcome those roadblocks with speed. Because the idea of you getting over that roadblock at some point, the reality is at some point you probably will get over it. I mean, It might take you years, months, weeks, but you'll get over it at some point or quit. Now, if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're not a quitter, you're not someone who quitting is an option for you, then the question then becomes, how fast are we going to solve this roadblock? Am I going to solve it this week, or am I going to solve it next month or next year? And that speed's going to be directly correlated to how fast you achieve the results in your agency. And so that's what we've just seen with our clients, is them come in one way and leave different, leave in a different state, leave in a different mindset, leave with a different confidence, leave with a different clarity that then enables them to execute in their business at a faster rate. And because of that, be able to get things launched quicker, be able to see leads coming quicker, appointments coming quicker, business coming quicker. And so that's what we've really been able to do on Mondays. And so it's been awesome to equip them with that. And also just see people, I've seen people come in who even had things personal. It wasn't even related to the business, but there was things even from childhood. There was things that we were able to unpack that you might think as a business owner that has nothing to do with my business, but guess what? It actually has everything to do with your business. It has everything to do with your business. And so that's what we've been able to see on Mondays. It's been awesome.
Wow. For the people watching this right now, and even for the clients, right, when they come first on board, they thinking like, what's the strategy? What's the thing that I'm going to learn? Trust me, we have dozens, and which Matthew is going to share, right? The tactics, the specific, do this, do that. Okay. But if you don't fix what's in here, none of that matters. None of it matters. So 50% of the battle is literally understanding your psyche, understanding who you are as a person, understanding your weaknesses, your strengths, where you need to get better, where you are really good at, and leveraging that, to the best version of yourself to be able to put into your business, and then applying the strategies and then applying the tactics of what it actually is when it comes to building a business. So Matthew, you put it perfectly there when it comes to the first initial 50% of the game of what it takes to become successful. What about the next 50%, right? What about the specific hard tactics? Again, you've scaled companies from 0 to $5K a month, $10K a month, but also $4 million a month. What are some of the step-by-step things that when clients come, what are the things that tactically that we do, that you do, and that the client has to do in order for them to achieve the financial success that they're looking for?
Absolutely. So it's really simple, but it's also very granular when you zoom in. So when we're starting our agency, the most important thing is, number one, the agency structure. So meaning our niche and our offer. And that's simple, but it's also incredibly important. Especially when it comes to your offer, because your offer is essentially what differentiates you from every other agency on the market, right? At the end of the day, it's no longer 2017, it's no longer 2016, where you could just say, I run Facebook ads, and that made you unique, right? In 2026, and I know because that's when I was running my agency, right? Back in 2016, 2018, 2019, it's not the same market that it is today. And so we have to have an offer doesn't just make what we do specific, but is also for a specific audience. And so that is the agency structure, super simplified, is our niche and our offer. Then from there, it's all about setting appointments. How can you fill your calendar with appointments? But the way that we do that, as we get more granular, are the main ways that we do that. I don't know if we're going to get into the nuts and bolts. I don't know if
go ahead. Yeah. You can talk just high level, not super detailed, but I want people to understand the mechanics behind building a successful AI agency. So that way, the people watching this, they're like, hey, this is not for me. Perfect. And then the people who are like, this is it. This is for me. I want them to come closer to us.
Okay. Perfect. Hey, you heard it from Zarar. So what he says goes around here. So essentially, once we have an offer that's for a specific niche, so hey, this is what I do, not just the classic Sam Ovens, old school, I help blank do blank, right? It's not that simple. It's having a specific product that we're going to tailor and create that is for this audience, this industry, this business owner. And when they purchase this quote unquote product, host of services, they're going to achieve a certain result or outcome. Then we're going to go about setting appointments. The main way that we're going to do that is with strategic ad campaigns and LinkedIn strategy. Now, when it comes to our LinkedIn strategy, all of that, of course, includes high-level copywriting, some softwares that we use to automate the process. And so when you're doing that with LMA, obviously depending on what tier you're at, if you're at our CEO level or VIP level, we begin to, well, with LinkedIn at the VIP level, we're actually taking that over for you completely. At the CEO level and the accelerator level, we're giving you all of the copy so you don't have to do that yourself. So a lot of that heavy lifting is taken care of for you. On the Facebook ad side, though.
So sorry, the copy for the people who don't understand are the words in the ads, right? Are the words in the messages. That's done for you. Yeah.
Right. And the reason that's so important is because, number one, we talk about external roadblocks. You would be surprised how often people are like, hey, I wrote this. Can you let me know if it's good or not? Right. But when you have the confidence knowing that LMA has already written that for you, and then now you can just plug and play, it removes all the excuses. And what I've found is that it actually expedites the process of you being real with yourself. Where it's like, man, if I already have all these messages written out for me, then the only reason I haven't done 100 today is because I just haven't done it. You no longer have the excuse that I don't know what to say. And you actually end up getting real with yourself that, man, my excuse actually never was I don't know what to say. My excuse actually always was I don't want to do it. I want the result, but I don't want to do it. And the faster you can realize that, the faster we can actually get to transformation, right? When we get to the truth, that unlocks transformation. But that's a whole other conversation. But anyway, on the ad side of things, this is another massive external roadblock that people get stuck at, because it's not as simple as LinkedIn can be simple. You can get a message and you can manually make connection requests and you could send those messages, right? It's a bit more simple. On the ad side of things, it's not as simple. Why? Because we need to build a landing page. We need to build creatives. We need to make those graphically, but we also need to strategically know what to write, the copywriting in those creatives, not to mention the copy in the ad themselves, not to mention the email and SMS automation, not to mention the integrations with Zapier. There's a ton of technical work that goes into making an ad campaign not just effective and good enough to launch, but then also the optimization and the strategy that goes into actually building that campaign into a winning one. It's a lot. There's a lot of technical work in between and a lot of strategic work that's necessary to oversee it. And so I explain all of that. When you're in the CEO or VIP level here, we essentially do all of that for you. So all of that is completely taken care of for you, where the landing page is built, your site is built, your creatives are built, all of that stuff. And we empower you with the help of your advisor. So if you're an LMA, maybe you're watching this and you end up getting assigned to me. And what I would do with you is I would begin to say, hey, this isn't how you're going to technically build out the campaign. And this is how you're going to, go on to GHL and do this and that. But we're going to start to have a strategic conversation around how we can actually scale the campaign, what kind of budget we're at now, how we need to scale that budget strategically, how we can make adjustments to the creative and the copy and the offer to be able to achieve a different result. Maybe we're not seeing the kind of quality leads that we want to see, so we make these different adjustments to get a better lead quality, so on and so forth. But if you were doing this on your own, you would have to figure out how to not only technically build all of that, but then also how to strategically optimize and scale that, which I can tell you from personal experience that is difficult. Another thing that LMA does, which this was probably my biggest bottleneck when I ran my agency, is that LMA connects you to a white label fulfillment service. So when I ran my agency, I overcomplicated fulfillment a ton, and it stretched my bandwidth, which was a constraint. But then also at the same time, I was learning with my clients, right? I was learning ads with my clients. I was learning funnels with my clients. I was doing all these different things with my clients, which eventually built me into, a respectable marketer, right? That could understand marketing philosophy and the technical aspect as well. But what we do with our clients is that we actually just take that part out of the process for you completely, where you end up white labeling it, meaning that when you get a client, you don't actually fulfill that client. So for example, if you close a deal for someone doing Facebook ads or that wanted Facebook ads, you wouldn't be the one going on the Meta Ads Manager and building those out. You would actually connect them to our white label partner, and then they would fulfill it for you, which now enables you to continue to scale the business.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly right. So like being the company owner, being the company CEO, instead of you having to do this, and Matthew, what Matthew shared in the last 10 minutes was number one, amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that with some of the people watching this here. But it also shows you like how complicated business can be, but how
Right.
simplified we can make it if you partner with us, right? And again, you don't have to partner with us, you can partner with someone else. But who has this type of team? I don't know. Who has 120 employees? I've never seen anything like this before. The best you're going to get is like, a course or like a curriculum that you can go through, and you're welcome to do that. Or you can just partner with us, make it a lot easier, and have 120 full-time employees, people, contractors, team members working for you, very similar to how Matthew is here working with us here at Launch My Agency, right? So the decision and the choice is yours, but we just wanted to showcase a little bit to you of what it actually takes to build a successful AI agency. Matthew, before we kind of like wrap up here, right? Again, you went on a tangent there, which I love, which I really appreciate, and I can see the passion that you bring. And I'm sure you could talk for 18 hours, right, if we had to. But I'm really
Sure.
curious, right? What was it about LMA? What was it about our company, the mission, the vision, the values that we have here that attracted you to work with us, right? Because I was talking to Aaron earlier. I know you guys worked together. It was very difficult to get Matthew and Aaron to come to us, right? But we got it done. I'm curious from your perspective, you getting offers left and right every single day. Why do you choose to work with Launch My Agency specifically?
Yeah. I have a very unique answer to this, Zarar. So I hope that this works. But
Go for it.
Zarar and I were actually neighbors long
Yeah.
before this was ever a thing. So, probably the most luxurious apartment building in Scottsdale. Is that fair to say?
Honestly, so I've been to Dubai and they're very nice, the building, but like the vibe and the feel, you just can't replicate it. It is literally the best, place to be. I mean, in the world, for me at least. I haven't been to, the best one yet. For me, that's number one. And I live right now. I live at a 5-star hotel, so that should show you the standard that I have. And hands down, the place that we live in Scottsdale is the best.
Yeah. So Zarar is my neighbor, and so in being able to kind of witness his life from afar, there was just a level of like credibility and just like being able to watch him up close and personal. I remember literally walking by an LMA VIP event. The VIP clients from LA flew in. I literally just got off the call before this meeting with one of the people that was at that meeting, and she was like, "Yeah, I was at the VIP event in Scottsdale." And in my head, I'm like, I walked past that meeting. I wasn't a part of LMA at that point, but I'm seeing it. And because we're neighbors, we also have a lot of mutual friends. So in that time, Zarar and I, we said hi to each other, just like, obviously respect. You walk into a room and somebody's in there, it's the respectful thing to introduce yourself and just shake hands. But by no means were we even acquaintances, right? Just a hi and bye kind of thing. I would see him and his brother sometimes fighting. They would be practicing MMA and boxing out in the gym. And so I've seen them a good amount of times, but primarily through our connections, right? Our mutual connections. We have a good mutual connection, Michael Johnson. And Michael was
He's one of our clients.
oh, is he? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So Michael was
200
like a
grand
very,
in 200 grand in 3.5 weeks that he did.
that's
I did a whole
crazy.
podcast actually right here in this studio. I did a whole podcast with him and I called it out before that even happened, right? Because people talk about the
Let's go.
success, but they don't call it before it even happened. I have the whole video. You can watch it somewhere. It's probably on my YouTube channel, but yeah, that was a pretty cool.
I love it, dude. Michael's an amazing guy. We love Michael Johnson. Michael was like almost like a direct neighbor. So like I was
Yeah.
I was on the second floor, he was on the third floor, and my balcony was right here, and then Michael's was like literally right here. So we were very close.
Small
And
world.
so
Yeah.
Michael's just testimony of you and your brother, and then as Aaron was the one that originally kind of like introduced the idea of this, and I was like, all right, let me kind of learn about it. I know of these guys, and I got connected to Christian, your partner, COO here, and me and Christian, hit it off. It was great. We had a handful of conversations, maybe 3-4 conversations, and then started with just the performance clinic. I was like, okay, let me kind of come in and just kind of help a little bit. But that was like, you know what, man, like the opportunity here to help the clients at a higher level, because what I was getting on the performance clinic, is people would go in the chat and they would say, Matthew, how do I talk to you one-on-one? Matthew, how do I get your one-on-one help? Matthew, can we set up a call? And I was like, man,
we had to make it work, right? We're like, come on board, give one-on-one support to our clients, treat them as family, treat them with the absolute most, level of respect as well as knowledge that you can bring to them. And here we are, right? Dozens and dozens of case studies later. Amazing. Matthew, what would you say? Some final words, maybe words of wisdom to the people watching this, maybe in 20 or 30 seconds, the people who are considering working with Launch My Agency, but maybe they're on the fence, right? They really want to do it, but there's something that may be stopping them, whatever it is, whether maybe they see a 1-star review of us, right? Which after working with hundreds and hundreds of people, of course it's going to happen. It's actually a good thing that it happens because we don't work with everyone. We're not the best fit for everyone, right? So right now we have a 96% success rate, 4% of people it's not a good fit for. But the people who could be good fits of this, who do want to do this, what would you say to them?
Yeah, what I would say is that the team that we have here, from myself, Aaron, Christian, Zerar, I mean, the list goes on and on. We truly, truly do care and are invested in your success. Now, by no means does that mean that we are guaranteeing with, ironclad that you are going, this isn't an income claim, or it's like, yo, you are going to do this, no questions asked, because fundamentally, even if you are in some of our most done-for-you programs, there is still an element of your involvement in the business. But what I can tell you for a fact is that our team is truly leaned into your success, where our team is actually going out of our way oftentimes. I'll speak specifically of the leadership, Zerar, Christian, the executives here at LMA. I've had multiple conversations with Christian specifically where he's like, man, this actually is a detriment to our business. This actually cuts into our profits, but it's beneficial for the clients. So let's do it. And that is rare.
Yeah.
It is very rare because I've been a part of many different coaching offers, whether that is as a client, on the sales side, on the fulfillment side, leading teams, so on and so forth, right? It is rare. Most of the time, they would rather if they're going to lose profit, might as well put more in a marketing, right? So we could continue fueling the sales side. And whatever happens on the fulfillment, just keep the clients happy enough so that so we could keep our chargeback rate low. But LMA does not have that posture where it's like, we actually want to see our clients win and we actually are willing to invest in them.
We genuinely do. We literally made this for ourselves, right? And it just kind of gives me goosebumps thinking about this. But honestly, the clients deserve this, right? Yeah, of course we make a profit. Of course we're a business. But at the end of the day, if our clients aren't winning to the highest level, then I can't sleep at night, right? At least that's for me. I know, like you said, some people, they don't care. They just take the money or whatever. For me, it's not about money anymore. It's beyond that, which is why we also give our team members Rolexes, right? So like there's quotas and stuff. We buy them Rolexes. We could have bought ourselves a Rolex.
My wrist is empty.
It's coming, bro. It's coming. Don't worry. But with that being said, guys, thank you very much again, Matthew, for showing up here for our clients, or for potential clients watching this, or even team members who want to join us here at LMA. We urge and suggest that you really consider this opportunity because it's once in a lifetime opportunity, especially with the AI wave. It's going to end. It's going to finish. Your time is now. Your time is very limited, right? We only have a few years in this world, right? We're not going to have hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe a couple decades more to go. So hopefully you can do something with your life, and there's going to be a link down below. You can book in a call. You can chat with us. If it's a fit, we can sign up. If not, no worries either way. All right. With that being said, take care. Bye-bye.